From grain to glass, this show is dedicated to helping you make the best beer possible. So strap in and hold on to your mash tuns. We're Homebrew Bound. Welcome to Homebrew Bound. I'm Casey.
And I'm Brian.
This is the best beer show on the internet.
Strap into your mash tun.
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, that's a thing that just happened.
Strap on.
Strap on your mash tun. She's in for a good time. All right. Ad reads. The American Homebrewers Association does a lot to support home brewing and home brewers, and now they support us. During the AHA, we'll give you discounts at homebrew shops and select tap rooms, as well as give you access to the fantastic Zymergy magazine. Click on the referral link at the bottom of our homepage and join today. Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/blindstudios and become a patron today. It really helps us out. Super easy for you guys to do, and I want to give a shout out to Black Belt patron Andy Thompson. If you'd like to be as cool as Andy, head on over to patreon.com/blindstudios. If you're doing Amazon shopping, head over to blindstudios.com. Click on the Amazon link above our homepage. Your Amazon shopping as normal. It really helps us out. Wow. All right. We got a full show today. Today we are doing Listener Mail.
We need a sizzle thing for that.
I know. We have one. I just,
I think we were half in the bag when we made it, and I don't think.
Well, I mean, that's how we do this show. I don't.
That's fair.
Right. But yeah. So Brian, what have you been up to beer related lately?
Well, let's see. On the last episode, I talked about the sour program, I believe.
Yep, sour program and Hop and Barrel Light.
Hop and Barrel Light. I talked about. Oh boy, I don't. What else?
Have you had a beer that's made you excited lately? Is there a beer that you've like, oh?
Well, I kind of like got excited. If that makes sense.
No, rediscovered.
Fulton 300 is still
really?
just, god damn, it's such a good beer. And I ran into, I was just at a buddy's house and he had some 300, and then later bought a glass of it at Tamarack Tap. And I still really,
That's a good beer.
really like that beer.
It's Mosaic, isn't it?
Yeah, as
Yep.
far as I know.
I like that hop. That's a good hop.
Same, can be kind of all over the place though.
Oh, really?
Sometimes, yeah. It depends on the pick time. Primarily. I don't know. Other than that, at the brewery, we had a Mighty Axe hop sales gal come in, and looks like we're able to contract as little as one box a year, which is great because I don't think. I mean, we kind of did an analysis on the amount of hops we use, and I think the hops that we use the most, we probably use about 3 boxes a year.
How big is a box?
Oh,
for those of
well,
us who don't know.
They come in 3 sizes, but I would consider what I'm talking about a box of hops. I'm talking about 44 pounds. So they come in 11, 22, and 44-pound boxes for Pro Brewers. So yeah, I was kind of excited to be able to like do a little bit of contracting because I think contracting hops is good for the overall hop market, just to make it evident what needs to be grown and better projections on that. So, and then we might be able to get there should be a little bit of cashmere hops available through Mighty Axe, but they're mostly, I think, Fair State and Black Stack asked for, or they get the majority of those. But if there's leftover, then people who have contracts with this company can kind of get something.
Interesting.
So yeah.
I don't know, like the hops is always one of the more like contractually one of the more interesting things with brewing,
Right.
because it's so different every year, and there's new varieties coming out all the time, and
Takes a long time to get the vines to be fully mature, and I think we had the hop guy on Gordon's show or
Gordon's show, and then DOO too. I think.
DOO, that's what it was, and what was he saying? It takes like 5 years.
Yeah.
To really get a plant.
Yeah, I was listening to the Brewing Network, the session earlier this week, and like last episode they had Sully on as just kind of like one of the co-hosts from 21st Amendment. And he was talking about a hop that like he tried like when it was in the developmental stages, and he kept calling and calling and calling and calling it. Like he would he set a reminder on his phone like to call up the grower and be like, "Can I get this yet? Can I get this yet? Can I get this yet? Can I get this yet?" Finally, they're like, "Fine." And then like he set up the contract, and then like he called up to go get his hops and like, "Oh yeah, no, we don't have that." He's like, "The fuck you don't? I have this contract." And I'm like, "Oh, you have a contract? Yeah, no, we're good. We got it."
Oh wow. Jeez. You know, before we get too far, I think last episode I again said that Bjorn Bjornsson was Finnish, but he's not Finnish. He's Norwegian. Damn it.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah. Bjorn, we are so sorry. We have fucked this up time and time again.
Just
and
pick
you're
on
you're
you,
such
man.
you're such a good sport about
Totally
it.
good sport.
It's just, we just know that we don't mean any harm. We're just idiots.
We exist in a world of inside jokes anyway, and so it's just it is what it is. So anywho,
all right. Yeah. So we don't have any homebrew to taste this week because we had some issues that we were not going to talk. Well, I mean, I'll talk. So my keg apparently had a leak in it, and so it's just flat.
Yeah,
And that's a bummer.
It wasn't completely flat. It was, but yeah. Then you kind of said there's a little off flavor.
Yeah, there's an off flavor there too, which would have been good to talk about on the air. But I want to talk about it like when the beer's actually like when there's no other flaws in the beer.
Right.
And I don't know if it's an off flavor. I don't know. It's soapy tasting, and I can't figure out what it is.
Cilantro.
I wasn't cilantro. There was no cilantro in the beer. It was the American wheat. And like I used Citra in it, and I don't know. Doesn't matter. We're not going to talk about that this week. We'll talk about that in the future. But what we are going to do today is we have a backlog of listener mail, and there's quite a bit of it. So we're going to talk about that. I think the first one we're going to talk about is from Instagram. This was sent in to us by. You want to take this one?
I'll take this. All right. So, I'll just read it. Well, I don't have. You want to read it, or
I can. All right. So, hi. First of all, thanks for a great show. I have a question for you guys, or more of a topic for discussion. I was wondering if you could talk a bit about standard versus alternative ABV calculation / formula. I get the basic gist of it, and that the alternative version is better for high gravity beers. For instance, I have a Utopia clone going on now that has an OG of 1182, and a SG of 1062. I think we talked about this last time. I think it means finishing gravity.
yeah, I think.
Because an original gravity of 1180. Okay, and the difference between the formulas is about 5%.
So I think what we arrived at here, when we talked about this last time before we lost the episode, was that seeing as how he's got an 1182 beer going, this is kind of a tough one. I mean, essentially, OG and SG are the same thing.
Yeah. So I think there might have been a typo here. But so basically, there's two different ways to calculate your ABV is what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
There's two different formulas. There's like the standard formula that everybody uses. And then there is like an alternative formula. I believe like the standard formula is like the one that John Palmer like puts in his book and stuff. Where I had found it last time, and I'm trying to pull it up again here. Calculator standard. Okay, here we go. Here, all right. So the equations are the standard formula is ABV is equal to the OG minus the FG times 131.25.
Mm-hmm.
So very simple, easy to do. Like you could do that yourself.
Yeah.
The alternate formula is a lot more complicated. Like it's OG minus FG times 76.8 divided by 1.775 minus the OG, all multiplied by the final gravity divided by 0.794.
So is this the difference that he's talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
So these are the two formulas that he's talking about. The alternate formula has it reports a higher ABV for higher gravity beers.
Right.
And the standard formula reports a lower one. So a lot of people will use the alternate formula for higher gravity and the standard for your normal gravity beers.
Right. So yeah, then what this gentleman is asking about is like, what's the difference between this?
With like why I believe is the
Oh, why? It's just the way it's calculated. But I mean, the only reason that there's a 5% negligence in this is that it's a Utopia clone, and Utopia is the beer that Sam Adams makes. That
it's like 21% or something.
Right, it's 21%, and they routinely will win like spirits competitions, like liquor.
It's very good. I've had it, and it's fantastic.
It's still technically a beer, but I mean, I don't think that it's not as like as crazy as 5%. Like when you get
So if you're looking at a 5% difference between a 6 and a 7% beer, like it's not that big of a swing.
Right.
And so I believe what I would do here is, like, no matter what you're doing as a home brewer, it's all going to be kind of ballpark.
Right.
I hate to say that, but what number do you like better? Like,
it is almost that kind of a situation.
Well, it's one of those things where, end of the day, it's not going to make a huge amount of difference. It's your final alcohol in the beer. Yes, it's good to know, but honestly, the difference between like what would be the swing on like a 20%, like 5%, you're looking at like a 2 percentage point swing, something like that. Like what's the difference between 20 and 18%?
Not much. I mean, it's up there. It's up there. But that being said, so then the listener goes on to say he types his name in and says, it's cut off for me, but it basically is just like good luck pronouncing that.
Oh, did I not send the name in there?
No, you did.
Oh yeah, I did. Okay, yeah.
I got the name. And the name.
He's from Sweden. By the way.
This gentleman is from Sweden, and his name is Eivind Sebjörnsen. I hope I did that.
Yeah, because you've been practicing.
I have been practicing a lot. So Eivind, I would really like to actually see your Utopia clone recipe if you're interested in sharing that with us.
Yeah, no, that'd be really.
Because that's
kind of curious.
I mean, I don't know how much chit chat has gone on about high gravity beers, but I mean, you definitely need a specialty yeast, and then you could bubble oxygen into it at about 18 hours. There's all kinds of fun things that are involved when you deal with higher gravity beers. So yeah, maybe we maybe have an episode here, Ivan. So
yes, and then he also said, I'm a bit behind in listening schedule, but if Casey has not been to Berlin yet, tell him to go to the Muted Horn. My wife and I recommend it, and it was awesome. Unfortunately, I was unable to go. I had already been to Berlin at that point, but I appreciate the recommendation.
Next time,
I will keep that in mind. Love Berlin. Berlin was really cool. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for the recommendation. All right.
Ready?
All right. So the next one that we have is from Brian Harbinson, and we've been talking with Brian back and forth for a bit, and he sent in a beer for us. This is he sent in where did those things go? Here we go. It is a Helles Bach. Do you have the BJCP style guidelines up or no?
Yes, I do.
All
We're
right,
at
awesome.
4C.
Will you give me just the overview of there, like just that first bit there?
Aroma.
There should be like the first section. There should be like.
Damn it! I'm looking at.
The app. Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Give us a rundown of the aroma and stuff. What are we looking for?
What are we looking for aroma? Aroma-wise, we're looking for. Well, actually, before we get any further, this is. Section 4 is pale malty European lager. So this is 4 subcategory C. So 4C aroma, we're looking for moderate to strong grainy sweet malt aroma, often with a lightly toasted quality and low Maillard products. So low.
You want to throw this on that coaster up?
Yep, Maillard meaning like caramely, bready, probably more bready. So low Maillard product, moderately low to no hop aroma, often with a spicy herbal or floral quality. Clean fermentation profile, fruity esters should be low to none. Very light alcohol may be noticeable. May have a light DMS aroma. And DMS is generally not cool in any beer, but
All right. You want to hear some recipe?
yes.
All right. 37% Pilsner malt. 30% Maris Otter. 18% Munich. And 13% Vienna. Hops on this, 60 minutes, half an ounce of Mount Hood for 9 IBUs. And then at 15, half an ounce of Mount Hood for 6 IBUs. Did a 60-minute hop stand at 185 degrees, is what it says here. Yeah. Then 60-minute, 85 degrees for 1 ounce of Hallertau Blanc. So this is a Brewfather recipe that was sent, and there's just a lot of information on here that I'm not sure what to do with. So like we have all of the different salt additions. Fermented with Y yeast, Bavarian lager, 2206 with a 1 liter starter. Let's see. 5-gallon batch. 75% brew house efficiency. Double decoction.
Wow.
Whoa.
Well, hardcore, man.
Hardcore, dude. Fermented at 50 degrees for 15 days. 55 for 10. Then 65 for the de-rest for 2 days. And then 60 days lagering.
Wow. Okay.
Did a distilled water base and then salted it. All right. So should we get to taste in there?
Yes.
So beers on Beer Cam. You guys are watching live.
I'm gonna take it from the.
Yep.
beer.
No, that's fine. Yep. They should have seen it already
Yeah.
if they were using their eye holes.
Indeed. All right. So your appearance is deep gold to light amber in color, bright to clear clarity, large, creamy, persistent white head. Head is definitely there's good. There is retention. Could use some beefing up on the.
Yeah, I'm curious if this was bottle conditioned or if it was. I'm guessing it was put into a bottle off of a keg.
Oh boy, yeah. From an aroma. Oh boy.
Little.
That smells good.
Yeah.
From an aroma standpoint, yeah, I'm gonna lightly toasted, a little bit grainy for me, which is good.
I'm getting a little like butterscotch, like.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, butterscotch. I think that's kind of that's part of the what was the so there was Maris and what was
Maris and Pils.
and that was it.
And Munich and Vienna.
Oh, that's why. That's why they're a little bit of a reddish
Yeah.
hue to it.
Patented beer light.
Yeah, patented beer light.
Oh, clarity is amazing.
Clarity is really really nice. Light DMS. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Dimethyl sulfide.
That's so DMS usually comes out as like corn, like a cream corn.
Yep. And I'm actually he was good enough. Brian was good enough to send us his BJCP score sheets. And you got a 30 out of 50 on this beer, which man, that's pretty damn good, honestly. Let's see here.
It looks like his biggest ding was aroma and flavor.
I don't know if I necessarily agree with these judges on flavor wise, because
yeah.
so let's do that. Let's do flavor. Moderately to moderately strong, grainy, sweet malt flavor dominates with some toasty notes and or Maillard products, providing added interest. Little to no caramel flavors, may have a light DMS flavor. Moderate to no hop flavor. Spicy, herbal, floral, peppery. Moderate hop bitterness, more so in the balance than in other box. Clean ferment. Well attenuated, not cloying, with a moderately dry finish that may taste of both malt and hops.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like the very light DMS. Like it's almost imperceptible to me. Like but I'm terrible at picking up DMS.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I get like caramel.
I don't know, man. These are some pretty lazy judge sheets, honestly.
There's not a ton of info on here.
Yeah, no. And there's no notes on overall impression on one of them.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, that's
Just a number.
Brian, I'm sorry, man. You had some pretty damn lazy judges here. You even had a certified judge who missed the overall impression. Not cool, man. I don't know, man. I'd probably push this as probably more of a 35 or 40 point beer in my mind. There's one note on the sheets that says more control on temp. Late hop additions would come through more. Not looking for late hop addition flavor in this kind of beer, so I don't know what's going on with this judge either. And I certainly don't know what the hell he means by more, or he or she. I don't know. I can't tell. No, I don't know what the hell they mean about more control on temp. So
I'm not picking up any
there's
temp
no
off flavors.
Temp
here.
off flavors, whether they be mash or yeast.
Yep.
Ferment. So, like I said, the only thing in here for me is like the head could be boosted a little more, and then a little better. It could be our glassware too, but maybe a little more lacing.
Yeah.
But
I'm enjoying the beer.
I really like it.
It's very drinkable. It's delicious. I don't have any like big complaints.
I don't either.
Like, let's see. I'm not really picking up. Like, I mean, I got the butterscotch and the aroma.
Yep, there's that in the aroma, and then in flavor for me, there's
Yep.
DMS, which is completely acceptable for this style. So,
yeah. Other than that, like, it's very good.
the one judge checked the oxidized box. Which
All right, can we like this? This is a little off topic, and Brian, I'm sorry, like, but I want to talk about. It's very rare that we get to see 3 different judge sheets side by side and actually talk about them on the show, and see just the mass difference of that. So you are a certified, beer judge,
correct.
right? So can you kind of go into like what the judging process looks like for like a BJCP like sanctioned event?
Well,
and like how do we have 3 beer judges from one event with vastly different takes on this beer?
Because everybody tastes differently. I mean, you know that.
Yep,
It's that whole like it's not a bad beer. It's just not the beer for me.
Mm-hmm.
I am fairly certain that they like what I try to do is I try to write notes before I look at what the style guideline says, and then I write my notes. Then I look at the style guideline.
So you're not influenced.
Correct, and then I'll kind of start adding my points in, and I make a point to cover up the points that I'm adding because I'm sitting right at a table with the other judges, and I don't want them peeking at my points because I've seen it happen. Furthermore, these guys, the highest rated one out of the 3 sheets was 32, and otherwise the other 2 dudes gave a 29. Now, the organizer of this competition is going to tell them how many points they need to be within each other. So it's been as high as 7. So you have to be within 7 points of each other. Otherwise, you got to duke it out and talk about it in battle and figure out like why you guys are all so vastly, off on it. Did I even touch answering that question?
I mean, the bits
how
and pieces
are
of it.
they so vastly? I don't because like I said, just because people taste differently, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not really
and
sure.
so it looks like 2 out of the 3 are professional brewers.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, and like, if you look at the notes on those sheets, they're vastly different than the certified beer judge's notes.
Yeah, the certified beer judge actually, like, he totally forgot one of these.
Yeah, the
sections.
overall impression one, I don't understand why he missed that one.
But yeah, he made good notes and then gave what I think is a much more appropriate score than the other 2. And I mean, sure, you got professional brewers, but yeah, also keep in mind that this isn't a popular style either.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it's really close to style for me.
It seems very close to style. It's incredibly drinkable. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a good beer. like to just have around, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just like it was fun to have like the different score sheets.
Yeah. It's hard to say why they went the way they did with this. I mean, maybe they were on like their 9th beer for the day for judging.
Well, and so that's the
there's
other
that
thing too. You get palate fatigue, right?
Big time. I was in a mead section one time, and I had to do 8 meads.
Ooh.
Yeah, by the 5th one, we were all sitting around the table just giggling like children because we were drunk. Like you sit there and you drink 8 samples that are, 10 to 12% like mead or more, and your palate's gonna be all out of whack.
Yep.
So it's hard though with some of these events, and if the judges that say they're gonna show up aren't gonna show up, or don't show up, and I mean it's tough, and palate fatigue is real.
Yep.
So, all right.
Yeah, I don't know if I really have anything to add to that one.
No, but nice beer, Brian.
Yeah, very good,
Appreciate
Brian.
you sending it.
All right. Are you ready for Bjorn?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whew, we got some treatises here. So first of all, we apologize immediately for saying that you're Finnish.
He said I'm still Norwegian. No, I know you're just fucking with me. And no, I'm not gonna read a breeze. I don't remember what.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what we were talking. That was a month ago.
Right.
I like you feel special. I do have a question for you guys. Every summer, I brew at least one Belgian style of beer because I find them refreshing and great for summertime drinking. Typically, a blonde or saison. I would like you to suggest the style grist, the preferred yeast. Right? I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yep. And I would also like to have.
Oh no! What he wrote POF plus, so phenolic off flavor positive. So he's talking about like a Hefeweizen or a saison yeast or something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Did not get that. And I also like to have a nice restrained American hop presence that plays well with a phenolic character from the east. In other words, not a Belgian IPA. Also, what is the best water profile for such a beer? I know this is a tall order, but you are, after all, the best beer show on the internet. Yeah, and then there's another thing that we're going to talk about off air because I have a couple of ideas. I think that would be fun for the second part of this. But yeah, so he basically wants us to write a Belgian recipe.
Do a saison, but we need to think about what kind of hops would go with.
What kind of hops would go well with like American
hops?
So and that's interesting because usually we just go straight to like a Sauser type or something like that for those styles of beer.
Is Sriracha Ace American hop? No, I don't think it is.
I don't think so. Sriracha Ace. Well, maybe. I don't think it is. Where does Sriracha Ace come from? Oh,
Japan?
Japan.
Yeah, isn't it like a dwarf?
Yeah, it's a Japanese hop that came from Sapporo.
Oh, that's right. And didn't somebody tell me didn't one of those guys tell me that gosh, where am I going with this? They tell me that there's no such thing as true dwarf or something.
Oh yeah, the dwarf hop. Yeah, we were talking about that. I'd have to re-listen to that episode. There was a lot of really good hop information.
Yeah, I need to re-listen to that too. In any case, so here's what I'm thinking, Bjorn. A yeast that is a very challenging to work with. So I'll start with the yeast.
Okay.
I'm thinking I really like 3724. But it's a tough yeast, and it's
what is 3724?
It's the DuPont strain
from
Y yeast.
Okay,
but it's a mimic of the DuPont strain, and it is notoriously bitchy. It'll stick. It'll stick at like 1026, and you got to pitch a ton of it for one. I think I pitched like 3 smack packs in a 5-gallon batch.
Oh wow!
And it stuck, and I had to sprinkle some champagne yeast in it.
Some champers on there.
Yeah, and it went, it started going again. But as far as a grist goes, like what's a good saison grist?
Good saison grist.
Pilsner, wheat, Munich, and then sugar is kind of off the top of my head.
Like, it's not. It's a saison. You can pretty much throw whatever you want at it as long as you're keeping it
technically
light.
Yeah. I mean, but I would say that you're gonna want definitely a Pilsner malt. You're definitely gonna want some wheat, and then like I said, Munich would give it a little bit more depth of character, and then you're gonna throw a bunch of table sugar at it
30
to dry it out.
Yeah. So that yeast,
Uh-huh.
what kind of like phenolics and stuff are we looking at with that? Like, is that going to be super spicy? Is that going to be
From what I remember, yeah, pretty spicy. I mean, you can get Saison Dupont at the usually your liquor store, but yeah, spicy, peppery, and like I said, the sugar's gonna dry the beer out, and it's also gonna make it attenuate a ton.
I'm trying to think what hop would be good with that.
Well, you know what's good with sours isn't Amarillo? That's pretty good for
Amarillo is solid with sours.
sours. So I was thinking maybe
What is I was thinking what is it? Lemon drop? That's not American though, is it?
I can't remember.
Can't either.
I wish I remembered everything's.
But I
But
wish I remembered all the things that I ever heard. Because lemon drop would be good.
So technically, this saison, this 3724, it's spicy, complex aromatics, including bubblegum, tart and dry, mild fruit, crisp, acidic. Benefits from elevated fermentation temperatures. This one in particular, this 3724, is a little bit slower to attenuate, which is kind of unlike the other. There's 3711 and I think 3726, but I can't remember. 3711 is the French farmhouse one, and it's the one that's a little bit more tame. It's a lot easier to use commercially, not as finicky. But that said, this 3724 I think has some of the best spicy, peppery flavor. You can. I mean, shit. You could just let this free rise. Like if you chilled to 70, and then pitched,
Just let it rip.
and then just let it do what it does. Let it free rise. I wouldn't even put any temp control on it, and just kind of see
what you
what
get.
happens.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, so if we this is Bjorn, right?
Yep.
Do you know offhand, does Bjorn do 5-gallon batches,
I do not know what his
or what
system's
is it?
like,
19 liter is 5 gallons.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for a 5-gallon batch, I'm thinking like about 7 pounds of Pilsner, pound of wheat.
I don't know if he'll be doing pounds. We just do percentage.
God damn it. I'll have to come up with percentages later, but I was thinking like make it even, like 7 pounds of pills and then a pound each of wheat Munich and then table sugar.
Let me take some notes here.
Yeah.
And then we can figure out the percentages. That shouldn't be that hard, right? We should be able to figure that out.
Yeah, chop.
All right. So you said 7 pounds of pills.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Pound of wheat, pound of Munich, pound of sugar. Just grab some sugar off the table.
just packets.
Throw down.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's super easy. That's just 10 pounds, Brian. Even you can figure that math out.
Yep.
So it's 70% pills, 10% wheat, 10% Munich, and 10% sugar.
I hate this. The nature of being on the air and being on the spot. It retards my ability.
It makes you
to-
feel dumb. Like
yeah,
the entire
it really does. So
yeah, I completely
pardon us.
understand.
Oh man. Well, in any case, and then I'm thinking, shit. You could do Amarillo. You could do Citra.
So lemon drop is
Simcoe might be a fun
maybe.
one.
Yeah, I mean Simcoe could be fine. Like, so it depends on what kind of flavors you want to go there. Do you want to go the more herbaceous route? Do you want to go more like add some tropical brightness to it? What else would oh man. There's so many I mean if you want to go like some classic American varieties, like some of that old school stuff, I think that would work.
Mm-hmm.
Just because there's going to be so many other things in there. I would stay away from anything too dank.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, you don't want anything that's going to be super resiny.
Simcoe might.
Yeah, so Simcoe might be too resiny
that way.
Yeah. So I would stick to like, well, Willamette maybe. No, Willamette's gonna be too earthy.
What about Citra?
I mean, maybe like, yeah, just a little bit of Citra in there, brighten it up a bit.
He's asking about water profile too.
Yes. So
Oofta, what do you think?
I actually did a little bit of research. That's right, I prepared, and pulled the Trappist beer water profile from.
Nice. All right.
From what book was that again? Oh no, I lost it. No, come back. I need you, water profile. I need you. From Brew Like a Monk.
Ah, it's a good book. Yeah.
Yep. And so, like, I don't know. So, we have the Orval, the Roquefort, the Chimay, the Achel, the West Vladern, like West Mall profiles here. I'd say like go with like the Chimay water profile.
Okay.
Like, why not?
Yeah.
And so then you're looking at your 70 ppm calcium, 216 ppm bicarbonate, 7 ppm magnesium, 7 sodium, 21 sulfate, and 21 chloride.
All right.
So yeah, heavy on your calcium and your bicarbonates, and low in everything else. Is kind of where it's at.
Makes sense.
Yeah, really accentuate, those yeasty flavors.
Yeasties, and then could do a short rest at, one. Well, what was it? What did they say on the internet? It's 109 to 113 for
your
ferulic
acid rest.
If you have that type of control in your brew house, then I would do like 15 minutes at
and
100 and
and he didn't say if he was going to sour it or not, and I don't think he is.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he's just going that straight farmhouse.
Right.
What about like? Did you ever experiment with blending yeast, like blending smack packs?
A few
and stuff?
times,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this would benefit from that or not.
You could.
I don't know what you would blend it with, because I'm not familiar with that yeast.
Yeah. That's a topic of discussion for another time. But yeah, I've definitely thought about using, like 75% of something, and then throwing in half and half of something else. And yeah, I never really did much experimentation with that, but I have definitely written recipes with the intent to blend.
All right. So what do we decide on for hops?
Oh, I don't know, man.
My vote's still Lemon Drop. I like that hop. It's fun.
I think that, honestly, Lemon Drop, if it is an American
it
hop.
is. I looked it up.
You did?
Yep.
Do Lemon Drop then, yeah, because I think that'll
it'll brighten it.
That'll go super well with a Saison, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there you go.
Air aroma specification on hopsteiner.com says lemon, mint, green tea, light melon.
Ah, boom. Yep. There you go.
And I don't know. It's just, I think I brewed one beer with it during the 80 style challenge, and I really liked it.
We did a Kolsch with Lemon Drop.
We
did some Grant hops.
It's just a fun hop.
Yep.
There's a lot of fun hops out there, though. Now they're all coming out of like Australia and New Zealand, though.
And very expensive.
So expensive. All right. Is that the end of our episode? I believe
it is.
Oh no! Does that mean we get to go home?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Carlos will unlock the dungeon door so we can leave.
Carlos! We're done podcasting, man.
We did our job, man. We did it.
Let
us out. We really have to pee. And the drain's backed up.
Oh, no.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you have any questions, comments, show ideas, or what have you, go ahead and shoot us an email at feedback@blenderstudios.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/blenderstudios, or follow us on Twitter at @blender_ninja. And I'll see you guys next week.
Peace.